Taniguchi Koi Farm is at it again. I've not been this excited in a long while. Oh wow, this is just like fucking overload for my brain. Oh wow, look at the sumi on that. Jesus. Bastard jumped, did you see that? Unbelievable, straight out my hand. Nope. The master of golden corn, the mad scientist. We've all forgotten in amongst that how good of a Gosanki breeder he is. But he's been at his tricks again and he has created something I'm really excited about. This batch of fish I have has presented the perfect opportunity to not only show you what he's up to and tell you the reasons and show you why I'm excited, but also to take a deep dive into parent fish and bloodlines. So many of you will, when you're looking at new fish, say this is from this parent set or this is from this bloodline. And actually throughout my journey trying to become a koi breeder in Japan, starting with my spawning last year, I've learned just how significant bloodline actually is and how separate bloodline is from parent fish. And this batch of fish is the ideal one for me to explain further and actually demonstrate, because the amount of crazy stuff this simple pairing of just two fishes thrown off is quite remarkable. But it's all actually explainable when we take a deep dive into the bloodline itself. So stay with me throughout this, you're gonna learn a hell of a lot and see some really, really cool fish. So first to what he's actually created. There is no official name for these right now. He is the mad scientist. I don't know exactly what he's cooking up. He's not being super open about it, but I'm just dealing with what's in front of me. Now, I do know that he's spawned again this year, so I'm guessing this is something that he is taking seriously on the road to whatever vision or plan it is that he's got. There's just some crazy genetics here, and we know the man can really make some incredible stuff. But the parent set itself was actually the spawning of this 96 centimeter Ginrin Matsukawabake I mentioned, and a Kikokuryu that actually originates from Dainichi Botan. And now this is all the bits around bloodline that's going to make sense towards the end of the video when we eventually see them in the bowl close up and do a deep dive. First thing that stands out to me is that there's huge growth genetics in here. Again, this is what Taniguchi is remarkable at. He's made golden corn. If golden corn didn't grow how they did, in my opinion, they wouldn't have been as special as what they are. And given the fact that you've got a 96 centimeter Ginrin Matsukawabake, it's not the only one of his Matsukawabake that have done this. You've also got a Kikokuryu, which is a big male fish from the Dainichi Botan line, and back there is just huge growth genetics as well. So combined, when I first saw him, it was that structure. That's what got me hooked straight away, because I'm thinking, oh, there's the scope here to really do something growth-wise, because it's all right seeing it interesting. In my opinion, if you can't get the structure and the growth, it's not half as exciting as what it could potentially be. So that's the parent set done. And now onto the offspring. As you will see, there's so many different variants this has thrown out, because it is an unusual pairing. You've got Ginrin in the mix. You've got a Wagoi fish, as in fully scaled. You've got a Doitsu fish that also exhibits a few of the big scales, and what's back in the bloodline, as we're going to eventually find out. When you throw that together, you're going to get absolute madness come out of it. And whether that's the eventual end goal, like I say, we don't know at the minute. We are dealing with what's in front. So there are Wagoi fish that have come out. There are Ginrin fish. The Kikokuryu is metallic, so you've got the metallic element of it as well. There's the big Aragoke scale pieces. So much. And it's exciting to think that with the growth genetics they've got, these truly unique fish in front of us, where they can go. This is the big thing that I find so fascinating and exciting with Japanese koi versus any others. It's when you look beyond what's in front of you a bit deeper and knowing what things can do is what gets really exciting, because koi are a long-term game. There's no rush in any of this, and so many of these fish actually come more and more alive. The bigger they get, the more size they get, and the more volume they get. That's an important word. Volume can really be a game changer in all this. Just so you know what we're doing here and what all this setup means, there's a very, very big size variation in here. So not only am I picking fish that are going to be growing on and being moved into the growing ponds, I can already see from this bowl, for example, that there's a huge size disparity. A fish there I'd want to grow on is going to be far too big to go in with the average group that's going to be released into this new 1,500 gallon pond. Therefore, I've got various different nets here. Ones I need to do also a bit of organising between the two ponds we're doing today. So when I'm done selecting, everything else will go back in the bigger net. Then the two small nets will separate. The main grow on batch with the average size, and then bigger ones that exceed the average size that I'm still looking to grow on. So I can have a think about what we can potentially do with those. Anaesthetic using the selection bowls just to keep the fish calm. Let's get stuck into it. So with the batch itself, my expectations are quite simple. I know there's fish here with quality genetics. I know they're going to be able to grow. I want to prove it. We can actually see from the batch how some of them have already shot on. If we actually look back at the footage in December when I acquired these, you can see exactly what they were. It was an exciting net full of fish, didn't truly make sense, but how they've come on in that time already, they've not even managed to establish the body volume yet. They've just kind of been stretched out because naturally they want to grow. Now at this point we're going to be separating some out into some growing ponds and give them the chance to stretch out further, but I'm going to be working hard to really increase the volume and bring out what I think is there. The parent fish, especially that female Ginrin Matsukawabake, carries huge volume. It's quite remarkable. So all that's in there. I've got big expectations for how these can grow. There's a few of them, knowing that there's Kikokuryu blood in there. I'm expecting dark looking at the moment with the potential to lighten through the growth phases as they hit Nisai and onwards. I've experienced that a lot over the years raising Kikokuryu based fish. To the point where many years ago I actually nearly rejected a whole batch of Marusaka Beni Kikokuryu because they just looked black and dark and horrible. Because there was no commercial value to them, I thought, well, I might as well grow them and see what happens. And from there flourished the most amazing Kikokuryus. It was mind-blowing. You have to remember that with them, and this is where bloodline can also come in, Kikokuryu are a variety that when they're spawned, they go through a Koroku Senbetsu, which is a selection where all the black ones are chosen because they're the ones with the base colour that's required to make that variety. And from there, it's a case as they grow out, the actual true pattern emerges. But we'll take a deeper dive at that as we move to take a closer look at the fish themselves and dive into why bloodline plays an important part in understanding what's going on in front of us. I mean, what is it? Like a metallic golden corn. Wow. I mean, what is that? I'm equal parts stressed to excited. Yep. I think that can go in.
That's awesome. Yeah.
My fucking god, that is spectacular. Oh, that is just... There'll be a war for that. Selection's all done. That was so much fun. Could probably tell, absolutely in my element. Excited, brains just ticking, looking at them, wondering or thinking what that could possibly do, trying to figure it out. That is one of the joys that these sort of fish bring. It's the wild nature and the unpredictability at times, just as with golden corn, that adds a great element to it. Now, a big thing again, just in case you're new to the channel, I've spoken about this a lot over my grow out series, the various different ones. But when we're selecting fish for growing, in order to maximize the results, a very important part is size separation. I'm going to show you now what we're going on, because I've actually, and it's about right for what's in here, got 3 different size levels out of here, all of which are going to need different care. If they're all in the same pond together and it's intense and crowded as it will be, then what will happen is there'll be one group that always loses out. Normally the smallest, possibly even the in-between. It's just not an ideal setup to maximize the growth you get out over a set period. So in fact, we'll take a quick look and I'll do a quick measure just so you can see the wild level of differentiation that there is. So I've got a net of some little ones here that I'm really like, and these are going to go into their own pond. Say their own pond, a pond where I've got other fish of a fairly similar size. It should be well matched, let's say. And again, the variations coming up out of these is just wild. I'm just going to put a few different ones in here to actually show you that. You look at what's in there at the moment, all from one spawning, and yes, this one as well. Like I say, when we discuss the bloodline, you'll understand why something like that is in there. It'll make a lot more sense. So the fish, this particular batch, that's currently sat just about 20 cm, up to about 24 cm there. And I mean, look at this. This to me, as I'm looking at it, obviously there's metallic vibes, there's Ginrin, almost like potentially metallic Ochiba, but it looks like it's got Kanoko developing, which is blowing my mind a little bit. That is going to be so much fun to watch. You've got Kikokuryu, we expect that, you know, Benny Kiko there, but you've got the Ginrin fused in because of what they've come from. Here again, look, just absolutely stunning there. And then this weird and wonderful, the Aragoke, what got that kind of gold colour vibe to it as well. We've got the Ginrin on there, so much fun. So that is on the smaller end of the batch, and likely already that they have missed out because they've been with all the others that you're about to see. And there's been a lot of them in the pond. It's a competitive environment. The size differentiate, the more competitive the pond becomes, the more of an impact that initial size separation will have. So this to me is what is the kind of mid-size, the main average size of the batch. So you see already there, we're about 26 cm, up to 31 cm. Again, what you've got here, the madness, the Aragoke, the Ginrin, what Kikokuryu, all with the kind of big scale, all down the lateral, amazing. Ginrin Ochiba even, I think that one's going to throw you out for sure. There's been some amazing ones of them. They've got this Aragoke style Doitsu Chagoi, I mean look at that. Soragoi version there with the Ginrin on it, remarkable stuff. And then we have the big ones, which I would call the menaces, the real trouble causers. When you have a batch like this, they are the ones. These here as the average will still fly. I will get a lot out of the smaller ones because you've got to give them fair opportunity. But these you're about to see are the ones that just naturally excel. And that is something that will carry through their entire life. A lot of the time these fish get bigger for a reason. It's because they come dominant at that feeding time, or just genetically have that ability just to grow a bit bigger. Even right through the very biggest fish in the batch. And wild to see, look, again, it's going to get you thinking, what is going on here? A massive Ginrin Chagoi, and it's stunning as well. So size wise here, hitting 34 cm up to 38 cm. I mean, look at the colour tone of that. With the Ginrin as well. Superb, that Chagoi. Even here, Doitsu Ochiba, Aragoke style, Ginrin to it. And Soragoi with amazing Ginrin and slight metallic vibes to it. It's crazy. So as you can see from that, you put all that lot together, you're just going to be hoping for the best results wise, and something's going to go wrong. But hopefully already from that you can see there is so much variation in here. This is exciting stuff. For me, this is what koi keeping is about. Yes, we love the go sanki, or I do. It's a serious side of the hobby. But this side, especially when there's such crazy genetics involved and the potential to grow big, exciting, unusual fish that change and change and change, is amazing. So now the bit you've all been waiting for, I think it's time to get some in the clean water, have a look and dissect this bloodline. So are you feeling inspired? Because I definitely am. Now, You see here the offspring. It's such a diverse range, mix, colours, Doits, big scale, Wagoi, Ginrin, you name it, it's all in here. So remember, Ginrin Matsukawabake crossed Kikokuryu. The Kikokuryu itself had the amazing full line of Doit scales down each lateral. Now that pair in itself, you might be forgiven for thinking you might only expect 1 or 2 different varieties. Why am I seeing bright gold fish, Ginrin Ochibas, Soragois, you name it? Well, that answer is quite simple when you look deeper into the bloodline. Now you, as a consumer, a koi hobbyist, when you're actually marketed these fish, parent set is probably the bit you mainly want to focus on, because from that you'll get some rough information, the size of the parent fish, the mix that's gone in, some understanding of the first stage of genetic limitation in regards to such as size and body potential, because ultimately that is the first barrier. If both parents are only 70 cm, you're never going to get 80-90 centimetre fish out of them unless you get the odd freak. So that is probably, in my opinion, the first place you need to look. When you want to delve into bloodline, it goes so much deeper, so much further back. But actually in this case, what provides an understanding of why there's such a mix of colour. Matsukawabake itself is an interesting variety. You get that kind of Kanoko style sumi development, which is going to explain one part of what we're seeing in and amongst these. Then itself, you've got them kind of Kumonryu aspects, there's the Ginrin, there's so much there coming from it. And what that'll add to the fish is the ability for pigment to develop in a certain way. You can potentially layer colour onto that, but ultimately that is one of the unique traits of Matsukawabake themselves. I think most of this, however, has come from the male fish. So a Kikokuryu that actually came from Dainichi, that alone stops you in your tracks. But what it is about that is that it came from the Botan spawning. Now, many or all of the non-go Sanki you see at Dainichi today all originated from this one Botan spawning back in the day. The main thing it produced at the time was the key Matsuba, but so much came out of this. That spawn in itself was a monstrous Karashigoi, fused together with so many different fish. Maruhiro was actually the advisor as to what Dainichi wanted to pair together. From there, they get all these crazy offspring, and they've been honed in and refined by Dainichi to make the likes of the Black Zeus, Black Diamond, and yes, the Yellow Monkey, the Ginrin Karashigoi, all originates from there. Now you're starting to get it. If you even want to go one further than that, the origin of Karashigoi is indeed Chagoi as well. Those genetics are in there. You can go right to the very end. Then it starts making sense. What we're seeing here more directly is Kikokuryu variants coming from the fish itself, no doubt. Given also that Kikokuryu is got Kumonryu blood in it as well. It's where they were created from. So we expect to see a lot of that. There's also variants of metallic Matsukawabake, yes, been known as Ginga. Some of these are more directly just a metallic version. Ginga's slightly different as I know it, but we're getting variations of that in here as well. By crossing Doits with Wagoi, you get this mix that is what will produce big scales. That was the original Doits fish in Japan. The breeders then refined bloodlines over years to create a version of Doits that was completely scaleless. It took them ages. That's what also makes me chuckle with the craze around Aragoke and big scale of recent years, because it's almost undoing all that work and putting all the scales back on. Absolute madness. As for Ochiba, we can see that potential there, knowing the Chagoi heritage that's in. Plus, not forgetting there were so many different fish. Shisui, I know, was a prominent one in that original Botan spawning, which might explain a bit more of all this madness. When we look at certain examples like the plain Doits yellow, slightly metallic ones, and the crazy yellow and white pattern one, it explains it, you know, the Kikokuryu aspect of it and all the other stuff in the mix. That one, I think, more potential Shisui blood throwing out. So it is actually explainable. That's the interesting thing. When you dive that deep, you can explain a lot, and it does explain the whole mix that we're seeing here. I think what the point of all this, though, is the relevance of bloodline in general to you guys. In my journey to become a koi breeder in Japan, knowing bloodline helps with the likes of inbreeding and understanding what might throw out from previous generations in a spawning that we're looking at. I don't think that's highly relevant to you guys. Overall, I think what is more important is knowing the breeder, understanding the culture of the breeder, his mindset, what he likes to produce in his fish characteristic wise, and more importantly, the direct parent fish that these come from. Because I think it will tell you more when you're looking at size potential in that, and that breeder's mindset will enlighten you. If we just look at Sakai, talking, you know, not related to this in any way, but we know the mindset is there around that phenomenal body power, and they bred it into everything that they do. So that's a mindset thing as well as a genetic and bloodline characteristic. I'm excited to see where they head, and I think we should take a closer look at a few now. So I want to start with what I think is the most insane fish in the whole batch. I think this is where potential Shisui genetics have kicked in. The colour is explainable from, you know, potentially the Kikokuryu side, but my God, this is just one of them fish you just stop and go, wow. If size can be got onto that, and I think it will, that could be one of the most remarkable non-go Sanki I've seen in quite a while. Very, very excited for it. It's got mixtures of metallic, the Doitsu metallic scales, and also non-metallic skin mixed in there. It's got it all going on. What a wild fish that is. Here you see around Ginga. Now this is not full Ginga, as to know it, because it's actually got almost like an Asagi kind of base style to it. And it's got sumi forming over the top, but you've got that metallic shine. Look, incredible sumi quality. That could be a hell of a journey as to where that could head and what pattern it could potentially form as well. The Doitsu Ochiba variation, again with the Aragoke, the Ginrin, you name it. Really, really nice to see. Doitsu Ochiba are a fascinating variety to see anyway, and we can couple with that, whatever's in there, fusing that. You've got the normal Wagoi type Ginrin Ochiba as well, that's got superb coloration. You can already see some nice power aspects in the body as well. So because of that mixing, you're getting both scale variants out of there as well. These are just quite remarkable. I think they'll be on a hit list for a lot of people just because of the colour. The colour itself is amazing. You've got metallic and non-metallic elements across the fish, and then the Ginrin thrown onto it as well. Just wow, absolutely. They stand out in the pond an absolute mile, and my guess is they would share similar aspects to this fish. They've just not mutated any degree of pattern out of it yet either. As we move on, this is where I talk. I think this is just a full mutation of Matsukawabake, but with a full metallic luster to it as well. And as for this is wild, because this is like almost like a metallic golden corn. We can see Kanoko starting to develop through it as well. It's actually got the high level Ginrin, it's got metallic in the fins and a non-metallic head. Crazy, crazy stuff, and I think there's going to be a lot to come from that, but it's so vibrant because there is a metallic touch to the skin as well. So you can see how these two are quite similar but very different, because we've got the sumi aspect here. Will there be sumi in this? I don't know. It's going to be a hell of a one to watch. This one has actually got the full metallic head as well. Then you've just got the outright Aragoke in that one, which I think is stunning. You can see it there as well. A lot of Kumonryu blood here, which is producing that. And then of course the pairings mixing the Wagoi and the Doitsu to get the big scale mutation. But what you can see in all of them as we look is that body potential. It's there. The long leanness of them at the moment. The coloration here, look, kind of Doitsu Chagoi variant. When you see it here, it's interesting because here we've got a Chagoi variant and that's actually produced full metallic. So I'm guessing there's more kind of Kikokuryu blood coming from that one. This is just mind-blowing as I keep looking. I don't know where to look next. Kind of Ginrin Mukashi come out of it as well. Be interested to see what that does over time. Not the most inspiring at the moment, but in it as well, we then get a Doitsu Mukashi variant. So it's fascinating to see how some of the variety it's producing, you are getting the Wagoi and Doitsu variant across the board. These I've found really, really interesting. They're so clean and vibrant. This one, full metallic. I've had some of these that have got Ochiba sort of style Kanoko breaking through on the skin, which is going to be really, really fun to watch. Straight Kikokuryu, amazing to see. We know how they're going to change. Going to be so much to come from them. Great structure to it again though, because as big as the female fish was, I think the male, if I remember, was about 75 or 80 centimeters, which is quite remarkable. Just a full Aragoke, as they are known. I can actually see that there's kind of browny pigment sat under there as well, but really nice. What makes that more interesting is those amazing white tip fins as well. And then finally, we've seen it, this is just a less developed version, but Doitsu Ginrin, or Ginrin Kumonryu, if we like. We've seen a lot of these, we've had a lot from Takatatsu, they're not linked in any way, but this is kind of that black Zeus. And when you think about it, even that look, I mentioned black Zeus originated from that Dainichi Botan spawning, and here we're seeing very similar aspects again. Amazing. I am so excited for these. I think we should just take a moment, admire that lot as a collective once again. This is what I love about Koi, and hats off to Taniguchi for once again trying to create something. Of course, we've seen variants of all this, the big scale, the Aragoke, all the rest of it, and who knows what his master plan is. This is the first generation, like I say, he's spawned again this year, he's clearly up to something. But for now, I can't wait to get these growing and see what we can produce out of them. Thanks for watching, I hope you've learned something. Bloodlines are incredibly fascinating, and I'm sure we'll touch upon it more in future.